Hi, my name is Ethan and I'm an electrical engineering apprentice. I'm currently in my third year. I've already completed the Btec Level 2 and 3. I'm currently doing the Level 4 as well as an NVQ, which is more practical based. For the Btecs, they're all done at a training centre, but for the actual NVQ, that's mainly practical based. There is also written assignments based on that practical work, but all of that is done at the actual workplace. So for the Btec Level 4, that's sponsored by the company. It's not one that is originally in the contract, and so it's one that's added on top. So they help with funding that. But they're also quite lenient with using work time to actually complete those assignments as well. So they'll give you a lot of time to collect evidence, to write reports, and to catch up on any work that you might be behind on. I'm currently working 37.5 hours, but when there's overtime on, depending on how much, I'd either be doing between 42 and 43 or up to maybe 50 hours. Across the 4 years of the apprenticeship, the wage will change. It starts off just under 13,000 a year, and then in the 4th year of the apprenticeship it will go to about 18,500. The entry requirements for the apprenticeship were quite reasonable. It was mainly GCSE qualifications at least, but in terms of experience, you just had to have the right qualities. So a lot of it came through with the interviews that we had. We had 2 separate interviews with 4 different people, and they were deciding based on more who we are rather than what qualifications we have. In my year, they'd taken on someone who'd just finished high school, me I'd finished college, taken a year out, did some manual labour work, and there was a older apprentice as well who she came from being a postwoman. I chose to go down the apprenticeship route because I didn't fancy paying the money that it takes to go to university, and also the fact that when you do an apprenticeship, most of the time you do have a job at the end of it. A lot of the times you've built up relationships within that company, and then they'll actually set you on as a permanent staff after that as well. Whereas if you go to university, a lot of the time people end up struggling for work afterwards, whereas apprenticeship just seemed more certain. So a typical day for me can vary quite a lot. For the first year I was mainly on shop floor, so that was a lot of wiring mostly, but a little bit of mechanical as well. That varies from wiring all different sizes of fixed units as well as some withdrawable ones as well. But in the second year in company, I've gone upstairs. So at the minute I'm in design and development, and so at the minute I'm doing heat rise testing on boards, which involves a lot of balancing, a lot of testing. So the days do vary on probably a 3-month basis. I did worry quite a lot when I first started my apprenticeship. My main concern was the wages. Obviously minimum wage for an apprentice is very low, so mainly that just involved checking my finances, figuring out how much leeway I would actually have, because I do rent, I provide for me and my wife, but we do manage on the income that we have, and obviously we have the prospect of a better income once I am fully qualified. To get a job in the manufacturing industry, I think one of the main qualities that people need is confidence. In manufacturing you get a lot of strong personalities, and so it's something that you definitely need to be aware of, you need to be able to handle, because the job can become too much for you. So having a balance with respect but also confidence to get the job done and to hold your own against the strong personalities you'll meet. In terms of physical skills, especially for my qualification, since it's a combination of downstairs on the shop floor and upstairs in the offices, It's not as necessary to have those practical skills beforehand. I did come from, I used to do a lot of house help, so I'd go to elderly people's homes, help them with any DIY stuff. I did plastering as well, so I have done a fair bit of manual labour. But there was an older apprentice who had never done anything manual before, and then came to this first time doing anything like this and took it quite well. So you don't need previous skills. It is something that can be learned within the company. It's mainly your personal traits that are the main focus. The best advice I can give to any students looking for an apprenticeship is don't just look at the company, the work they do, and if you want to stay within that company, also consider the qualifications that that place offers. My company, they offer, like I mentioned, Btec Level 4, which is the same as an undergraduate course. So that's something that a lot of employers will like, so it does set you up for the future as well. Whereas other people might have gone to companies who don't offer those things, so definitely check about what qualifications you can get within the workplace that you choose. At the minute, my long-term career goal is a bit up in the air. I'd probably see myself going towards testing to get more hands-on technical experience. But after that, I'm not quite decided yet. I do like the idea of D&D, a combination of shop floor and office work. But I do also like the idea of management, being able to supervise others and to help get the jobs done. But I could also see myself going towards the training route, helping the next apprentices to go through their training.